Hello, everyone. Welcome to Singular Sensation Online Long Weekend Special. My name is Jenny Wells. I'm your host, and I just realized I have YouTube opened on another window because I am a technical genius. See, here's the thing about theater artists that pivot, we've been hearing that word a lot, to different mediums. We're just still learning. You could spend like 15, 20 years in one discipline and like feel like you got it going on, and then you switch to another medium and all of a sudden you're like, I don't know how to walk and talk at the same time. But hi, I'm Jenny Walls. I'm a tech whiz. I'm your host for tonight, and I'm so thankful that you've chosen to spend some time with us. If you're in Canada, happy Thanksgiving weekend. If you choose to celebrate and observe and count your blessings instead of sheep. I know right now it can be tough to find things to be thankful for, but there's always something. I've been seeing a lot of posts on social media this weekend. There's always something to be thankful for, and I sincerely hope that there is something that you're thankful for this weekend and every day. We are very, very thankful for you watching. We are very, very thankful for all of the artists that choose to spend their time with us and talk to us about their incredible and inspiring work. And we're just very thankful to be here. So welcome. Welcome to the show. As we gather, we're reminded that we're situated on treaty land that is steeped in rich Indigenous history and home to many First Nations, Métis, and Inuit people. We'd like to thank the first people of this land and all creation, including the animals, plants, land, water, air, rocks, and all that exists on this beautiful earth, recognizing the importance of these spirits and the connections in the great cycle of life. We recognize that we have a responsibility to the stewardship of this land on which we live and work that is covered by the Upper Canada Treaties, where we are today. We acknowledge the Anishinaabe, Haudenosaunee, and Ojibwe Chippewa peoples whose traditional territory we are meeting on today. As settlers, this recognition of the contributions and historic importance of Indigenous peoples must also be clearly and overtly connected to our collective commitment to make the promise and the challenge of truth and reconciliation real in our communities, and in particular, to bring justice for murdered and missing Indigenous women and girls across our country. We're so glad that you're here with us tonight. We have a wonderful show. Let's get started.
Something has changed within me. Something is not the same. I'm through with playing by the rules of someone else's game. Too late for second guessing. Too late to go back to sleep. It's time to trust my instincts, close my eyes, and leap. It's time to try defying gravity. I think I'll try defying gravity, and you can't pull me down. Says they're so. Some things I cannot change, but till I try I'll never know. Too long I've been afraid of losing love. I guess I've lost. Well, if that's love, it comes at much too high a cost. I'd sooner by defying gravity. Kiss me goodbye, I'm defying gravity, and you can't pull me down. So if you care to find me, look to the western sky. Someone told
That was our dear friend, Miss Kelly Holliff, the one and only Defying Gravity. You guys, I gotta tell you, our lineup of guests tonight absolutely do know how to defy gravity, as does our entire performance community. Honestly, I say this almost every week. We are continuously amazed and inspired by the innovative ingenuity and courage and bravery and strength of our community in light of everything that's going on in the world. So keep defying gravity, you guys, because it is inspiring and incredible. And those are two words I would absolutely use to describe our next guest. Now, this is, we're going to talk about her fourth book, but when she released her third book, we had her at the 120 Diner when we experimented with something called The Jenny Show. And she has always been incredibly supportive, and I'm so thrilled to have her to talk about her new book release called Finding the Light, inspired by the goings-on over the past few months. Please welcome the one and only Allison Mang to the show. Hello.
Hi, it is such a pleasure to be here. Happy Thanksgiving, beautiful Jenny, and happy Thanksgiving to everybody.
Look, you are such a beam of light. And look at this set of yours. Of course, you would have a set because you just are the, you know, the epitome of just bringing it in all of the ways. And I'm so thrilled to have you on this version of the show.
It is my pleasure, and I'm so pleased you brought up when we first did, because that was one of the first, I think that was the launch of the Jenny Show, was it not?
Well, you know, it happened once, and then, you know, some ideas just need to roll around in the think tank a little longer, and then next thing you know, here we are doing it in this format. So little steps along the way. But that was the one we did, and it was a lot of fun, and you were so fantastic and so, like I said, so supportive and helped me so much. So I'm so glad we can meet again at this next juncture, so to speak.
Me too, Jenny. It's an absolute pleasure. And congratulations, because I know none of the entertainment people backstage, on the stage, behind the scenes, it's a very difficult time. So, you know, today's a celebration of what we're doing. And if we can stand up, we can help inspire others who may not quite have the strength today to do it. Mm-hmm. And that really, to me, is I know what you're doing. Your heart's right behind it, and I'm right there with you, sister.
Well, I love that you say that, because yeah, it is hard. And what we've kind of been really talking about and focusing on with people is, while you may be productive, that does not mean you're okay. And just because you're not productive doesn't mean you're not okay. There's this duality that we're kind of, I think, starting to make peace with in a business that is so focused on your well-being with being connected to your productivity. So this is really forcing us to kind of like separate the two and explore them as individual avenues. So it's really interesting. And I'm so interested to talk to you about Finding the Light that you're releasing, that was inspired by and is made up of so many different experiences and viewpoints, which I am so excited to get into. We have a game going on. It's kind of a drinking game. Everyone feel free to play along. Just reminded me of a conversation we had earlier today. So if you see me playing with my hair, if you hear me say the word excited or beautiful, take a drink. You're welcome. Happy Thanksgiving.
I'll add one. Yeah. You hear me say fabulous? Drink. By the time my segment is done, you'll be drunk.
So let it be known, every guest from now on, you get to contribute a word to that to that evening's game. And it can be non-alcoholic. Just play along. Participation is very, very much encouraged.
I didn't have to go get my glass of wine, so sponsored by Gatorade.
Me too. I'm sponsored by Gatorade.
Yeah.
When in Niagara, you have to drink the wine. It's just rude otherwise. So Allie, let's start. We ask all of our guests at the beginning of our segments together, how have you been finding, balance, positivity, maybe even joy during these crazy times?
I think as an actor and a performer, my whole life, I think that the key for me has been to stay in the moment. And it has transcended in a way that I've never actually acknowledged before. Acknowledging, being intentional, and taking the pause to really be in nature. And Jenny, we all love nature, but I don't know if I've ever really taken a walk. You know? I'm exaggerating a little bit, but I think what I have been forced to do, and as it turns out, so many of the folks that I interviewed in the book had the same messages to really get back in touch with nature, and look at those small things, and even if you're having a really rough day, acknowledge it, but find one thing that you can be grateful for. And those are the things. I mean, it's funny. I was just had an interview with probably one of the largest commercial real estate lady based out of Dallas, and it was a very different tone. It's very raw. It was American, and it was wonderful, and we had a great conversation. She's such a leader, but sometimes we're so much into the facade and the makeup. It's funny. I had said to you before, I mean, I was going to try to put in more hair, because every time I think about you, I think you're the Zhuzh Queen. You are the Zhuzh Queen.
And I'm honored to hold that title.
Oh my gosh, yes. Everybody in your audience will say, "Oh, she's the Zhuzh Queen. There's nobody better." And
we have guests backstage that are already busting you get at that, because it's very true.
But I did, to just quickly segue to that, I did bring some sparkles.
Of course, I would hope so.
There you go. But anyway, I'm going to pretend I'm there and a little there, and we have sparkles now.
Yeah, there we go. I mean, sometimes you just need a little sparkle for yourself.
You do. Now, I'll just finish this point very quickly. So I think it depends on what arena you're in. Do you put on the facade or do you not? And I think that the beauty of that question, Jenny, the beauty of your authenticity and your courage to be able to sit here in front and say, today's not a good day, but guess what? I'm going to stand here anyway, because this is part of who we are. And this is why you and so many artists are so exciting to be in the presence of. So that is the power of you. That is the power of the artist. And if we let that go, and if we diminish it, because at the moment it's not being honored in the way that we're used to, then we're diminishing ourselves. And we cannot do that. And so define the gravity. Nothing's going to bring me down. Very important, and it's just so wonderful that you're doing this, Jenny, and you specifically, because you wear your heart on your sleeve, and that's what also makes you one of the most exciting performers on the stage.
Thank you. Thanks, Allie. And today they're very big sleeves.
Oh, very nice. Yes.
I could take a compliment. No, and I thank you for saying that. And I think you're absolutely right. And there's a reason that we have songs written for musical theater, like Defying Gravity, shows like Wicked, and we, it's important for us to go back to those stories to remind us as to why we connected with them. When the audience is gone, when the paycheck is gone, what are we left with in a lot of ways? And it's those stories, and those stories that inspire us. So I love that. Ugh, so good. So listen, Allison Mang, this is not your first author endeavor. This is not your first book release. This is in fact your fourth. And before we dig into Finding the Light, tell us a bit about your literary journey, which is really only like a corner of your very diverse career. So like folks at home watching, or wherever you're watching from, like listen, like she knows all of the things, like literally across the board. But why include that in your journey of so many different things that you do?
I think the word would be legacy. I do believe that as leaders, in whatever category we are, it's our responsibility as we learn and as we face crisis and as we pivot and as we regenerate and we recalibrate and all of those rewords and renew, which challenge often is the only thing that makes us move into that new category. I believe that it's our responsibility as people who have dealt with challenge and have fell on our knees and have been mired by dust and all of the things that I know that all of us are feeling right now. It's important for the people that can to rise, because it's the legacy passing forward and passing on. And that is certainly, as an author, what I felt very strongly about. I wrote my first book in 2014 out of a need, which is often the case when you're an entrepreneur. I manufactured my first kilt and curling wear back in the late 90s for the same reason. I was a competitive curler and there was nothing nice to wear. And I thought, well, for gosh sakes, am I going to sit all weekend in this awful, rule? Let's get some stuff that I can look fabulous, that will still work with my body temperatures, and we can stretch and do all that stuff. So the dawn of a need is always the creation. And that's why I created my first book, because I didn't feel that there was a full book on how to actually connect with your customers online. Genuinely, and not in a coercive way, and to just do it because you want people to really get why you believe in this product and why you believe in that product. And I felt it was important to put it down. So I created this book, and it ended up being sort of an encyclopedia of how to connect in every possible way. And it built a toolbox of that whole thing. So that was my first book. My second book was basically rolled in from the first book, and that was the one that you talked to me about. Your first moment earns you more moments, and that's so true, isn't it?
We're in another moment already. Look at that.
So I think to say that just one more time, it's about legacy and it's about passing on. And I do absolutely think that everybody has a good book in them when they turn 40 and above. I think everybody does. And it's just a matter of getting it out.
And making note of that, because that time's coming soon for me.
That's awesome. You will love it. Let's have a drink, shall we?
We did. You did say fabulous. So
yeah. Have you said anything? No, I haven't given you a word in edgewise. I'm sorry. I'll shut up now.
The show is not about me, darling. Not about me. But today it is about my backdrop. It's far more fabulous than I deserve.
Does that mean that when you say it, we also drink?
Yes. Yes, it does. It means whatever you want it to mean, Allison Mang. So we're talking about finding the light. And tell us a bit about what it is. And I feel like the answer to my next question's already kind of been answered, what the inspiration was. And before we dig into that, I love what you said about legacy and necessity and the need for, if something doesn't exist, create it or try your best to. Because if you have something to offer and you feel that there's a need for something, chances are someone else wants and needs that too. And not just anyone can create something that doesn't exist yet. So I think it's almost an exciting way to look at something that doesn't exist yet. So like I personally, I'm writing that down because that is something that I feel I really connect with. So thank you for that. And this is why, folks, she's got 4 books, because what she says, it's home real strong. So yes, finding the light. Tell us about it. Tell us everything.
May I just take one moment before I go on about, because goodness knows I can talk about myself forever. But I want to talk about the creation a little bit. And I want to, here's the perfect for, and even if you aren't all performers watching, but the creation is when you get the white pages from, the sides from the part you're playing, when you get the script, when you get the libretto, whatever it is. They are white pages, and although maybe many people have played that part before, or it's an original one, as you were going to be doing this summer, and you will do it again. So just stay with it.
Next summer.
Right. It's you personally breathe life into this piece of work. So it doesn't matter if it's been done again. It will be your version. And so, the key to knowing thyself, there's such freedom in knowing that. And I do think that this pause has forced us to really look inside more and, kind of do some, gardening, get rid of some of the stuff that is bringing us down that we've always known that. Yeah. Because we really do need to get to that. Nothing's going to bring me down.
Yeah.
Anyway, I just had to say that because that's the creation. Actors do it every day. They create art from that little gem.
Mm-hmm. And it's a transferable skill. I truly believe, like, if we get down to it, I think it is transferable. We just have to give ourselves a little more credit, maybe, which is something I think a lot of people have surprised themselves with what they're capable of over the past 6-7 months.
A ton of more credit for sure. Mm-hmm. Okay. Do you want it? Because we can talk about anything, to be honest. I'm so happy.
I know. I was like, I have to whittle it down to like 3 things to talk about because we could be here forever, and rightly so. We'll just make it a monthly segment. Chit chat with Allison Mang. We'll talk about deep life meanings and ways to survive crises. But today, we'll talk about finding the light because it's coming out, and it's a collection. It's a collaboration with a lot of different people, but it's your book, not mine. So you tell us about it.
Well, it's called Finding the Light, and I just did a hard copy. This will actually, there we go. There's a little hard copy of it, and it's filled with I sort of made it into a bit of a magazine, so it's almost a coffee table book. And it is filled with 70 plus essays. Louise Camilleri, beautiful Louise Camilleri, joined me to interview all of these people via Zoom, or most of the people, certainly. And from the interviews, I recorded them, and then they went into text. So usually the interviews were anywhere between 7,500 and 10,000 words. And so I whittled those down to 2,500 words about. And then I brought in 2 very gifted writers to work with me, and another incredible stage manager, Saren Brooke. She helped me formulate all of the text so that we could put it in a form. So it was a collaboration of so many people, and it was an opportunity for me to honor everyone's voice in a collection that was about hope, that was about renew, that was about solutions and ideas, and there was nothing canned. It was very raw. I was just going to share you a couple of things, and tell me, because I don't have the clock in front of me, how much more time do we have?
So we've got I'm in there like 5 minutes. But Sarah Brecht is standing by, and she's saying just be cool. Also, Clint Butler wants to know if he saw Sean Wright fling by in that book of yours.
No, he didn't. Although I did
write him a letter and say, why did you, where are you? And then he has to write his own book. That's
with that. That's correct.
I think we all want Sean Wright to write a book as well, an expose.
Oh, for sure. Well, what I wanted to share was I broke it up into 7 different sections. So I started with business leaders, and then we went to entertainment leaders and entrepreneurs, and we went into faith leaders, family, thought leaders, and frontliners. So I interviewed people from all over North America, Australia, and Germany. So I really wanted to get a cross section. And believe it or not, every single one of the people in this book I've known for probably more than 20 years. Some new friends, but not that many. And it was my opportunity while I was figuring out, well, what am I going to do? I lost my job completely too, It was my opportunity to say thank you to these people for helping to create my career and to elevate me as a person. And it ended up being this passion project that is pretty fun. So what I would love to do, I'm going to show you 2 of the business leaders that I know all of you guys will know. One of them was Avery Saltzman. And I asked everybody 3 of the same questions. And it was, how do you see this pause in life? The second one was, what are your hopes and wishes for post-COVID? And the third one was, what are your dreams and wishes for the young people to take from this experience? And the fourth question was, that nobody knew about, is I asked them to describe in 1 or 2 words what this experience has been like, this experience of the pandemic. And out of the 73 people I spoke to, only 2 words were repeated. And I thought that was just so exciting because, you'd think over 70 people, they'd be kind of, have the same experience.
Mm-hmm.
No one has. And yet, we've all been bonded by those beautiful principles of being grateful and staying in the moment and finding moments of happiness, even if we're having a rough time. And so, even though 4 different countries of people who are from all walks of life, all the same stories, just clothed in a different way. And it was really exciting. I will also share, because it was my honor. He's been one of my best friends for many, 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 many years. And he's kind of raised me in a lot of ways. David Rogers is another one who is in this book. He's in the business leader section.
We like him on this show. We're big fans of David Rogers.
Yes, we are. And his 2 words or 3 words was point me toward tomorrow. And just such a hopeful idea. And everybody had their own thing. Bruce Dean, his 1 word was learning. And he had such wonderful things. I'll never forget what he said when I said to him, what would you say to the children, who are seeing what's going on? And what would you say? And his comment was, don't let fear get in your way. Mm. So this was the kind of sharing that we did through interviews. And then I curated them into essays. And it's an emotional book. It'll make you laugh. It's definitely going to give you some pause. It's a beautiful, beautiful, uplifting book. It's not a news book. It's not a political piece by any stretch of the imagination. And it's really the time-tested values of life, just dig in and find out. My dad did the foreword, which was great. It's taken me 4 books to get him to do the foreword.
Like, geez, Dad, see, look it. I keep doing it. Now it's time.
It's time, Dad. But talk about legacy. It was a grand honor to have him do the foreword. And I have said, I guarantee one person, every single story will speak to one person who reads this book.
Well, it reminds me of the saying, we may not all be in the same boat, but we're all in the same storm. And to me, that's what comes to mind hearing about this experience of bringing so many people together to talk about different viewpoints of the same thing.
Yeah.
It sounds like this feels counterintuitive to say almost, but must have been somewhat of an inspiring experience for you to put together, because it sounds like people are remarkable. Human beings are remarkable creatures, and we do hold on to hope with both hands very tightly. And it sounds like that's quite a large theme in the book.
It is. And that's why I wrote it. It's funny when you create anything from nothing. I had shared with you the text earlier.
Yes.
And I won't take much time because all of your guests are important. So please, I want to honor that. But I had lost my business that I'd been creating for the last 3 years in the United States. And specifically in the Florida area. So when I came home and then it all went, I like many people, we all experienced the hurt, every one of us. And it took about 2 weeks under the covers and kind of, oh my God. And then I had a dream and I woke up bolt upright, and it was this voice that said, free yourself, elevate, and rise. And I went, okay, free yourself, elevate, and rise. Fear. It was a different way to look at fear. And from then on, that's how this book was born. And so, I think to close on that and to talk about the creation and maybe get back to our legacy and get back to all of that, because that's what this book represents. That's what having your friends around you and asking for help. I mean, man, oh man, this is what we must do, particularly when we're being so challenged as we are now, is just trust. And if you need help, call. And I loved your post. You said, guys, just let us know, because today is a good day for me. I would love to help somebody. Tomorrow's not such a good day or whatever. Yeah. But I think being real and just standing up and saying, we're going to be okay together. Yeah. We're going to be okay.
I love that. And I can't wait. We're going to buy a copy. We're buying a copy because we want to read it. We're going to post some excerpts from it. And also what's special about this book is that when you purchase it, not only does it inspire the reader, but also you are contributing to 3 different charitable organizations through the sale of the book. So before we let you go, can you tell us a bit about who else is benefiting from the sale of this book? Because I think that is such a beautiful notion. Yes, I said beautiful. You can all drink, but let's pay attention to
that. Well, thank you for adding that, Jenny, because it's probably, for me, the most important. They're all youth-focused charities. The first one is Lighthouse, which is dedicated to supporting children, teens, and youth with the loss of a loved one. And when I lost my sister to suicide, they have a specific training and learning center that supports children who lose parents and siblings to suicide. And Lighthouse is one of the most incredible charities. And they actually helped my niece when she lost her mom. And so it has deep meaning to me, and I've worked with them before, and my niece actually works with them now and helps others who she knows. The second one is Lemonade, which represents entrepreneurship. This young girl at the age of 16 decided that she wanted to teach others how to create their own lemonade stand and to become a philanthropic organization. And that's what they've been doing. So it's entrepreneurship. And the fourth and final is called One World Stage and Screen. And they support and mentor and train young artists up to the age of 20 who have some real gifts but are below the poverty line, and they give them hope and they give them legs and the opportunity. And they also help athletes as well. So it's kind of the trifecta of the 3 things that have been a part of my life. And I'm just thrilled about it. And I'm so grateful to be on this show, Jenny. And thank you for giving me the opportunity.
No, thank you. Thank you for saying yes. Thank you for sharing with us. You are always so inspiring. I love that one of the charities is called Lemonade, because you know how to make lemonade better than anyone I know. So thank you for taking the time. I can't wait to get our hands on a copy. We are going to post in our Facebook group and on our social media. Also, if you don't follow us to find out what's happening and what people are doing. And we'll tell everybody how to get a copy, and in turn, who they will be supporting in doing so. Allison Mang, you are such a force. I'm so glad to see you. Congratulations on what I know is going to be a very successful and inspiring release. I think that's something that, you know, the more we can look back on this time and look at fondly rather than, you know, resentfully. I think that's great. And you're giving us that. So thank you for such a wonderful gift. And I wish you all the best with it. And I can't wait to talk to you about your 5th book release, which I know will be coming soon.
I love you. Thank you. It'll be findingthelight.ca. And I thank you for spreading the word, because we need all the goodness we can get.
Absolutely. And you're such a big part of that goodness. Allison Mang, thank you so much. All the best. Take care, and we'll talk to you soon.
Bye. Bye, people. Bye. Happy Thanksgiving.
Bye. I mean, yeah, it's true. We're not all in the same boat. We're absolutely not. But I mean, it is one big Jumanji game of a storm. That I think we can all be sure of. All right, you guys, our next guest is a wonderful friend of mine. She is a badass boss lady, performer, and filmmaker, and now mom on top of that. So that means she's like multitasker extraordinaire, and she's just a ray of light, and I love her to death. Please welcome to the show, Ms. Sarah Obrecht.
This is Naz runs in.
Yeah. You get a high five. You get a high five. You get a high five. Hi, friend.
All around. Hi.
It's so good to see you. How are you?
See you, and with the face on, I put on an earring. Why not?
Listen, I'm honored. I really am, because I know that can be a feat.
Hey,
I don't know firsthand, but I can appreciate.
Sleeping, that's a win.
Oh my gosh, I'm so excited to have you on the show. to talk about some really cool stuff you've been up to, some very important, exciting stuff you've been up to. Just to address Patrick Young, we are going to release on our Facebook group all of the info of how to get it, and I will make sure that you personally know, because you are so one of our VIP viewers. You are here with us every week. Thankful for you. We'll make sure you know. Sarah Obrecht, I love you laughing about the hair extensions, because you know my struggle with the hair extensions. That's been a good thing about COVID. My hair's actually had a chance to, like, you know, recover.
It looks beautiful. Everyone drink.
Ah, yes. So before we get into why we're gonna talk, I mean, you and I could talk about any number of things, to be completely honest. But how are you? How are you finding balance, positivity, like during this crazy time? I know you're a new mama, which is a whole
Pregnant,
you know, blessing in all the things. So how are you doing? How are you finding like the line of sanity? If you are, if not, that's okay too.
Embracing chaos is a big part of motherhood, a big part of COVID life. Embrace that chaos. I feel like I kind of had this weird get out of jail free card, in that being pregnant when COVID hit allowed me to like have this thing to focus on and zero in on. That kind of prevented me from really spiraling downward at that particular point. And now, especially since my son was born at the end of May, and really, like, when he's awake, I mean, sometimes for sure motherhood has its trying moments, but you know, I've got to be positive for him. So, you know, even in the moments that I, you know, am kind of feeling at, you know, the end of a rope, you kind of have to pivot and talk baby talk a little bit. I mean, that's hard to be upset when you're like, hello. So, you know, that's been a huge source of joy in my life. And I feel really fortunate for that.
Who knew baby talk could be such a savior?
I feel like also the balance is like very different than my life before being a mom. I feel like before, balance was like, okay, I'm gonna take a yoga class. Not to hate on that, because I need to find the time. Namaste. But now I feel like it's okay, he's napping. Okay, I have to like do these things and like get through my to-do list, and then he wakes up and you're like, okay, I have to put that away now. I have to focus on you. So like it's a different kind of balance, but in a way it's like a golf cart, stop and go. There's no like middle.
No middle ground. Yeah. Well, I mean, you've worked in musical theater, so you know what that game is like on a level.
Well, and I think I've been thinking about this a lot. I feel like as artists, I've said this a lot, that I think talent is important and of course, and hard work and all of that. But I think resilience is one of the most important qualities that we as artists have. And I feel like it's kind of, in a weird way, equipped us to deal with this kind of adversity.
I would agree. I would agree with you on that. And I've said that, and it's a good thing because of all and I've said that, I think on an episode, I said, it's interesting that this kind of industry has been hit. I mean, let's be honest, kind of the hardest, among the hardest.
Definitely.
You know, not to put, you know, but maybe that's because we could handle it, whereas other people maybe couldn't.
I really feel
fair or enjoyable, but
that, as you know, as crappy as it is, yeah, I feel like we're equipped to pivot.
Yeah,
to do
a compliment. It's like
you had to do a start, push, turn before. With the last one.
No problems. So, Sarah, we're going to talk about a short film that you wrote and produced and performed in, called "Good with Her." Let's show them a little clip, and then we'll get into it. How about that?
Okay.
All right. Okay. Check this out, guys.
No. Mark, I'm gonna have to call you back. Yeah. I'm so sorry. As I was saying, Rollin? It's Rolene. Rolene, you are a natural, really.
Oh, thanks so much for saying that. It's thankless most days, but it's the best job in the world.
I would love to sit down and chat with you about an opportunity. Here's my card.
Oh, I'm not looking for a job.
Whatever they're paying you, I'll double it.
What are you talking about?
Okay. You got me. You're obviously so smitten with her, but I figured it was worth a shot. Any chance you're available on Saturdays?
Available.
Wouldn't be the whole day, only a few hours. Sometimes I get called into the office on the weekends, and David is completely hopeless when it comes
tutoring.
Do you tutor as well? That would be fabulous. What subject?
Usually math. What are you talking about?
This is kismet. Last year he got a level 2 in math, and I thought, how is this kid going to be an engineer?
Dr. Michaels? Dr. Michaels? Hello, Mrs. Preston. Dr. Michaels, I saw you from my office and I just had to pop out.
Good with her. Little cameo by Ms. Mary Pitt. Okay, so tell us everything. What is Good with Her about? And then we'll get into kind of, I feel like what it's about and the inspiration for the film are kind of all kind of mixed in the same sort of answer. So tell us about this film.
Yeah, they do kind of go hand in hand. So it's a comedy and a bit of a social commentary that was inspired by true events. So I'm actually biracial. I'm half Filipino, and growing up with my mom, she was often mistaken for my nanny, and it was just like a really frustrating thing that she and I had to put up with, more so than my brother. My brother does look mixed race and looks more like my mom, so that was something that they didn't really encounter as much. And then of course I look like my dad, so like we didn't have that kind of have those kind of microaggressions occur. But then of course I expanded it, and I fictionalized my character. I play Angela in the film, and I fictionalized that character and kind of expanded it to make it a short film as the culmination of a mentorship, which I'll get into when we talk about the film's director. Yeah, it is. It's about motherhood. It's about racism. It's about like what starts out as an innocent assumption turning into a real foot and mouth kind of deal. And I was so fortunate to have the talented Alia Rasool play Rolene, who is the character that's based on my mother, and who's in the Tita Collective. Did I see that we have a member?
Yes, we had the Tita Collective on our last episode, and I had done the math like afterwards, and I was like, yes, this is awesome. This is great.
Alia is also a founding member of that comedy group. So I was very lucky that she was available to help me out that day, and that she was able to lend her talents to the film. But yeah, it also kind of was, I felt for me, a safe kind of dipping my toe into the writing water, because is one of the first times I've ever put myself out there as a writer. And keeping, starting with the story that was so truthful to me felt like a great place to start. Yeah, so that's kind of the gist of it.
Yeah. And I think that's something that a lot of people share, being in that position of, or in a situation where, yeah, they look like more like one parent than the other. And there's an entire thing. It's not talked about a whole lot, really, of that, not, I don't want to say struggle. That's not the word I'm looking for, but that experience.
Totally.
Right. Where you're kind of riding the line in the middle, and it comes with its whole,
it's a whole different ballgame, I think. I mean, for me, that's just what my family looked like. So I never saw it as anything. And then experiences like the one that the film is based on kind of like snapped us out of, like, it was like, are we in the upside down? Like what's happening right now?
Yeah.
And especially this, I remember this one particular woman, and my mom will tell this story too, is that this one woman that we encountered just wouldn't let it go. Now, she never ended up propositioning my mother for hire, but like she just wouldn't let it go. She was like, stepdaughter? Oh, she's adopted? Like she just kept, and she was like, no, that's my daughter. And then, yeah, finally she was like, she weighed 10 pounds, 4 ounces and passed through my loins. I think I'd remember. And yeah, just a really very intense experience. And I know for me, it's really carried into my adult life because, you know, when I was pregnant, my husband's half Jamaican, half Irish. I'm half Filipino, half Noof, and literally was just like, what's exciting? You know, you're kind of like, what's he gonna look like? But then, of course, like having that thought in the back of my head, like, I really hope he doesn't have to encounter any of this. Yeah, has definitely gone through my brain. I mean, he's only 4 months old, so right now he's just, you know, a wee baby.
He's just cute.
Just cute. But yeah, that's something I've definitely thought about, you know, as he gets older, for sure.
So why was it important for you to tell this story, to put such a personal experience on film in such a public forum?
Well, you know, again, I don't know. Like you're giving me so much. I feel like you're giving me so much credit, and I feel like for me, I just have been sitting on this story for a long time, and part of the reason.
That's a weird thing to say. It really is.
I just feel like I know. Sarah, you're like on a talk show. Like you can talk about yourself. But I feel like I've been sitting on this story for a long time, and I think there were two reasons why I didn't share it earlier, partly because I was like, well, I can't play my mom because I don't look Filipino. So I was just like, and like, didn't even cross my mind to like, why don't you write another character that you can play, Sarah? Like,
yeah.
And then the other piece was, again, starting from a truthful place as a kind of entry point into writing for a new medium. For me as a new medium, I think felt like a safer option than something else. And one great thing, I was working a lot with Sheila. She directed, but she was my mentor for the past couple of years. And she had kind of said to me, you know, focus on something just simple. You know, at first it started out as just the two characters, the two moms. There were no one else was in it, and just start there and just see where it goes. And that was a really great exercise because it kind of took the pressure off making this grand, you know,
magnum opus of a introductory project.
Yeah. And it kind of just pared it down to like, okay, let's make a short film that's one scene, you know. And that kind of felt like something achievable, and that I could start and finish, you know, in a reasonable period of time without having to get overwhelmed by, you know, the pressure of trying to create my masterpiece.
Right.
So starting there felt like a really great exercise. And then, of course, we introduced the principal character, and I was like, well, let's just throw in a couple kids, and you know, it became what it is, but. That was, it felt like a great place to start. And I find, I don't know about other writers that may be watching or other creators of any kind, like I can get so wrapped up in thinking about an idea that I think about ideas a lot but they never get done, or I might start, but then it just feels so huge that it's overwhelming. And then it's like, to really pare it down, like choosing a movie on Netflix, and then you're just like down the rabbit hole of like how many movies. This, and then you're onto YouTube looking at the trailers, and then you're like, okay, well, I'm exhausted. Let's just watch The Office again. Well, you know, it can be like that with writing, for me at least. That's my brain. So having Sheila's guidance and kind of simplifying everything and taking out all of that outside pressure and noise was really, really useful, and is the only reason that this began and then ended up getting finished, for sure.
So let's go back to that. So Sheila McCarthy, who was on our Dora special with Julie Tomeno, we got to meet her, which was very exciting because she is, you know, just slightly legendary. So how did that pairing come about? Why did you want Sheila to direct this story that was so personal? And you mentioned a lot about mentoring. So just tell us kind of about how did that partnership start and what was the experience? I mean, we've kind of touched on it, but speaking of rabbit holes, let's dive in. Let's go for it.
I mean, I'll try to give the Coles Notes version. But 2017, I was in a really big rut professionally and really was struggling to find direction in my career. And just, I thought I wanted, what I was seeing other people do. And I was just playing that comparison game. I know I'm not the only one who does it. And especially in this world of social media. And it was just a really depressing time. I was down quite a bit. And a friend, a very talented friend, recommended a program to me through CSARN. That's CSARN. It stands for the Canadian Senior Artists Resource Network. And basically, it's a mentorship program. I actually would have to double check the status of it given COVID times. But at the time, they had this program. I believe they're still doing it. That pairs a senior artist. There it is. Right there. It pairs a senior artist with an emerging artist or an artist that's kind of at a career crossroads or that's hoping to pivot. And you can apply, and then they pay this artist to mentor you, and you just get this incredible free mentorship. And in my head at the time, I just thought, what have I got to lose? I felt like I wasn't doing anything, and at the time, and was really down. And so I just applied on a whim, and I just happened to win the lottery, is what it feels like. And Sheila McCarthy chose me to be her mentee. That was just, I feel like that was just like, I don't even know.
Oh my God.
I have picture brain about it a bit. I was like, why me? But yeah, I really won the jackpot with Sheila in that. And then on top of her just being an outstanding, artist with a phenomenal body of work, like that just goes without saying. We just hit it off as people to really just kind of sealed the deal. And then I felt, again, stroke of luck, that CSARN and Sheila were both willing to press pause when I ended up booking work in the meantime. And I actually feel pretty lucky because it was supposed to be 6 months, but because of work that came in and out, yes, Patrick, it is CSARN connected. And that they allowed me to press pause on the mentorship, which ended up it still was only 6 months, but it really kind of extended it. So I could kind of let some of her wisdom percolate and then come back to it, and then, put it into practice on a contract and then come back to it. And each of these mentorships have to end with a final project. So in my head, I was like, well, maybe I'll just put together a demo reel because I haven't done a lot of film and television, and that's, she has, obviously. And so what better person to coach and direct that? But, well, are you really making the most out of this mentorship if you just put someone else's scenes on tape for roles that already exist, and put that on tape for your agent and your website that gets my mom goes.
We can be real. I mean,
you know what I mean? It's not really, it's not as special as it could be. And I always thought about writing, and she is somebody with such a multifaceted career. And in fact, that's what my application, that's what I kind of pitched myself as, was an artist that started out as an ensemble member and a lot of musical theater. And I love doing that work. Don't get me wrong. I love it. But I also, had all these, ideas of skills that I felt I could offer or bring to the table, but I didn't quite know how to access them. And she's somebody that started in musical theater and just has had this incredibly multifaceted career. Wow. And it still is. It's not just she just left this and is now doing this. She's acting and directing and writing all at the same time. And as a mom, all at the same time, And she's one of the first people that said to me, she's like, you can do this and have a baby. you can do this and have a baby. If anyone's wondering about it, you can do it and have a baby. You just do it. There's no perfect time, really. You just do it. Anyway, I just thought I'd put that out there.
That's serendipity. Like that is full.
It really
was meant to happen. It sounds like
it was just an incredible partnership. I felt so fortunate, and so she kind of, I kind of floated that idea. Should I, write maybe a little short film and you could maybe direct it as the final project? And she said, I think that's a great idea. Let's get to it. And she's, and I think having her waiting on my pages was a big part of getting it done.
Sure.
And I told you I'd have this done Friday, so I better have it done Friday.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So that was kind of the lucky me in that partnership there.
Well, like my father likes to say, luck favors the prepared mind, and I've met fewer minds more prepared than yours, Ms. Sarah Lebrecht. So I'm so thrilled. I'm so thrilled that connection happened for you, because it sounds like it was more than just professional. It sounds like it was very, very meaningful to you and to where you are in your career right now. That's awesome.
Definitely. It really was. And it just, I mean, I've been fortunate to have, worked with some incredible people, Sheila, but others as well. And I just find, the ones that really touch me as a person, that really kind of like go right straight into the heart. You're like, okay, yeah, you're here for life, and you've kind of imprinted. You may not know it, but
we're in this now.
We're in this now.
Yeah.
And then, it makes you want to do things and make something that may not make you any money, but it reminded me why I wanted to do this. It felt like play again, which, there are definitely days that work feels like work, but it's
our job, so it should
totally.
Otherwise, it would be a hobby that we did on our downtime, right?
Totally. But to have people that really make you excited about creating, that's where the magic happens, really.
I love that. Oh, I'm so thrilled. I'm so thrilled for the movement and the connections and the impact that you're making, because, oh my gosh, you so deserve it. I also say this as your friend who adores you. So before we let you go, what is coming up next? What is happening beyond today?
So a couple things. One, I have a short film. So and it's not good with her. It's called She, Her, Him. And it's happening at the Real World Festival, which is happening virtually this year. And it actually starts, I believe, in 2 days, from October 14th. 14th to the 19th. So many great films, a lot, like incredible work, BIPOC filmmakers. It's an awesome festival, definitely worth checking out. And I think their website is realworld.ca. So look out for that. This project was actually, I got kind of a notice, and it said, which is an organization through ACTRA, was looking for this year, obviously because of COVID, it's just different than it normally is. Their program was different. And they were looking for projects that were 5 minutes. And they were like, send us your scripts, 5-minute scripts. And that can be shot COVID consciously. So we had about 10 days to make ours. And again, it's kind of just embracing the chaos. I was like,
oh my God. I'm just thinking, I'm like, pandemic, baby, COVID, let's make a short film.
Teddy was napping, and I was like, I've got some time. I'll just write a real quick script and just send it just to see. And why not? It's like, here's the little deadline for myself. So I did write that really quick. And then they said, sure, here, make this film. And so I was like, oh, we've got 2.2 seconds in it. So it stars Aisha Jarvis and Trisha Black.
Yeah.
And music by Scott Christian, and Cynthia Smithers worked on it as well. So it's gonna be really great. We made it in 10 days. It's a whirlwind. And then one other project I'm just gonna plug really quickly is the Fall Festival of New Plays with TNB. This is kind of a silver lining of COVID. Everything is virtual, so you don't have to be in New Brunswick to watch this festival. It's all gonna be online. And what I love about it is Natasha McClellan, another incredible woman in theater, is kind of championing these playwrights and workshopping a whole month long of new plays. I'm not sure exactly how many. I want to say there's something like 12. Like it's an incredible undertaking, and hiring actors and directors, and we're workshopping and then presenting.
Oh, wow.
So I'm in one. I think it goes from mid-October to mid-November, but mine is on October 25th. It's called We Might Never Speak Again by Ryan Griffith. Yeah, you can check that out as well. I don't know how October ended up being busy, but I think just cutting out, I really think not doing the constant scroll. Not that I love social media for connecting people like we are right now, but in a way I find for me, it can be a lot to just, be watching everyone's highlight reel.
Yeah,
and
it's overwhelming.
Like I have to start at that. You don't have to start at that. You can start anywhere. So that for me has been super helpful, and just weirdly, I feel like just keeping yes anding.
Yes, anding. I love that.
Anding situation. So yeah, that's what's coming up for me. And then Baby's First Christmas.
Yeah. Well, listen, we are going to post how to see realworld.ca. We will post it on our Facebook group, and then closer to the date of the festival, the play festival, we will post that as well, so people can check it out, because how often do you get to see things in another province when you're not in that said province? So, like you said,
in another province.
Amazing. Like technology. It's a good thing the pandemic hit now and not in like the 70s or 80s, or maybe it would have been better then. Anyway, if we could talk about that for hours, which is not why we're here. But Sarah Obrecht, congratulations on the film and on Teddy, because he's the cutest, and on all the things you're doing. You inspire and you never stop busting ass, and I just think you're great. So thank you for being with us today.
You're amazing. I think you're beautiful, and I think you're fabulous.
Fabulous.
And I think I'm sweating.
All right. Well, you go give that baby a squish for me, and we will see you real soon. All the best with everything.
Okay. Thank you. Thanks everybody for watching.
Bye for now.
Bye.
Okay, you guys, because this is a Real Legit talk show on a Real Legit network that I made up on YouTube. It's time for our musical guest. I am so excited to feature our next artist. She has been a friend of the show, and we did my very last cabaret I did ever. I had the honor of sharing the stage with our next special guest, our musical guest for tonight. Please welcome Lauren Mayer. Hi.
Hey, girl.
Look at you. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. Sometimes I have to remind myself that I'm not on just like a FaceTime call with somebody.
I know.
I'm just like hang out like that.
I do very though feel like I'm on a talk show right now.
Oh, good. That's
it's
the
very
idea.
that. Yeah, it's very that vibe. It's good.
Yes. Doing it right. Thanks so much for being here. I'm a huge fan of you as a human, as a musician, as an artist, and I'm so glad that you're our guest tonight. But before we get into it, you're going to do a couple tunes for us tonight. We're going to split it up a little because we've got one more segment, guys. And if you're hungry for a snack, because it's only going to get worse.
I'm excited about that, by the way. But
oh my gosh, listen, I didn't burn down my kitchen. For those watching, we have our very first cooking segment tonight coming up in between Lauren's song and Lauren's other song. So don't go anywhere. But yeah, it was something. It was probably the most I've ever done in my kitchen. So that was fun. But my dear sweet Lauren Mayer, how are you finding balance and positivity in some sort during this dumpster fire festival that is our world right now?
I mean, honestly, some days I'm not really. I'll be perfectly honest. It's definitely been, as it has been for everybody, it's been like an emotional journey. When this all started, I had been traveling. And so I actually flew back to Canada from the UK on like the 14th of March or something. And it was like just crazy. And it just made me feel very like, uneasy, and I was just very anxious about my family, and my sister studies abroad as well, so that's a whole thing. But it's definitely been like, I think the whole overarching, like, I guess, mantra that has helped me not second guess myself or not get feel as down as I could is just maybe I just sort of tell everybody that you have to change your expectation, right? Across the board. The expectation of everything has to be changed, right? Things are still productive. Things are still efficient. Things are still entertaining, but it's different now for a little bit. And quite frankly, I don't know. It almost feels like things were feeling a bit more just like somber in the summertime because there were so many things we all wanted to do that we couldn't do. But I'm actually feeling, I'm still worried. I still obviously feel that pressure because it's there. And I feel my mind runs away with me about so many things that are unjust in our society, omnipresent, racism and police brutality and the political climate, around us, and all these humanitarian crises. And then it's you know what I mean? But I'm just trying to, you have to take it day by day, and the days do pass if you do that. So just thinking that, and quite frankly, I'm sort of happy I'm working at home in the winter because my job is very mobile, and I spend a lot of time on very really cold, overcrowded streetcars. So I'm chilling right now. But it's very much I know it sounds very whatever, but it's very just what am I doing today? Because if you start to go well, what's going to happen? And we're going to have this, and then there's that. It's I don't know if that's even the reality,
Yeah.
Everyone's feelings are real, not the reality. So
that's so good. Yeah. We have a neighbor who says to look backwards, to look into the past is depression, to look to the future is anxiety. So be present in the present so you can hold on to, whatever semblance of sanity and hope that you have. So I think, and I appreciate your honesty on that. We've talked to a lot of people that are nah, I'm keep on keeping on, but kind of not great. And
it's
fine. And that's fine.
No, it's not. It's not fine. I feel like I'm very lucky. My family lives, my parents live in this city, and I live with my partner, right? So I'm not living alone right now. So all of these things, I feel very, very lucky, very privileged that I have a job where I can work at home. But it's a different expectation is all, right?
Yeah, of course. But you are working on a release coming up, some music that you've been working on. Tell us a bit about that, because I know we're going to have a couple of performances, and thank you for saying yes to sharing with us tonight.
Of course, yeah, I'm so happy to. So I released a 5-song EP of original songs. This was a release that was supposed to happen in May, and I had a release show planned. And obviously that didn't happen. And I part of me is I was robbed of this rite of passage that everybody who releases a record gets to have. And then, I had all these friends who had to cancel their weddings, and I had, people who were out of jobs, and it's put a lot of stuff in perspective for me. So I ended up releasing it in June digitally, and, it's available to stream. It's available on all streaming platforms. They're songs I wrote sort of between the years 2017 and 2019. And then I recorded it we did it pretty quickly, actually. We did it over the course of, I think 5 months. My partner produced a lot of the songs on it, which was very lucky for me. Because I was no, I don't want that. No, you have to fix but we have to do this now, but a lot of stuff the strings and everything, they were recorded here because we have stuff like that. So I went ahead and released that. One day I'll do a show whatever.
Yeah, it's gonna happen.
It'll happen. It's fine. I had a group of friends actually they gave me like a surprise release show, which was really nice. They were like, come sing a tune for us. And then it was like 30 people on Zoom, and it was great.
Oh, that's
it was really sweet. It was really sweet. Other than that, I am probably going to record and release another single this year. We're going to record it and produce it at home. And I've got a couple of cool like video projects happening.
Yeah.
So one of them, of course, is with the Art Folk Collective. That's run by Alicia Robin, who I know was on the show a couple months ago. I guess already a couple months. I was gonna say a couple weeks, but that's
I know. And it's not our last chat with those folks, because they got a bunch of stuff coming down the pipe, including
and Stefan, of course. And that is gonna be featuring some choreography by him, and it's gonna have a little clip of one of my tunes that I'm actually gonna sing for you tonight. It's called Second Sight. So that's sort of like the title track off the album. I'm really looking forward to that. I've said so many times, even before I recorded anything, I didn't like know anything about recording music. So I was like, I'm never gonna have music on Spotify. But I've said so many times, like to all my dancer friends, like I was like, I want to see choreography to these songs, because like I can't dance, but I just want to watch people dance. And it's sort of like I feel like Alicia had felt that for a long time. I mean, her and I have been friends for a while.
Yeah.
And we've been through a lot together, and she had really seen the journey of these songs, over a period of like what was kind of a weirdly difficult kind of transitional 2.5 years for me. It just was like, and she sort of saw all of that. Alicia's really smart. She's very, very creative. She has a lot of awesome ideas. She's a really, really good at connecting with the right kind of people, like the people who have voices, who not just me, right? Like anyone who's worked with art folk thus far. Yeah. She's just really great at amplifying the right kind of voices,
Yeah. No, I would agree with that. Absolutely.
And I'm releasing a little video of my own later this month that you'll see. An acoustic-y, little spooky-ish kind of vid.
Ooh, really?
I'll sing. It'll be to one of the tunes I'm doing tonight, and we kind of filmed a very minimal acoustic version of it. I think it's gonna be really cool. Some like cello on there and whatever.
Nice.
But other than that, I'm chilling here. I'm teaching piano and teaching people how to sing, or trying to anyways. And, like you do the same thing, I know. So
I do the same thing. Yeah. It's really rewarding some days. Some days when you get into it, you're like, oh, I taught a kid something today, and now they know how to do a thing they didn't yesterday. All right.
Isn't that weird though? Like,
yeah.
Isn't that so like wild to me? Like I was thinking, like I have a couple of like piano students who are little.
Yeah.
And they had like never touched a piano before me. And now it's like 2 years later and they're playing songs. And then I have like imposter syndrome where I'm like, I didn't actually teach them to do that. Like they're just really adept and picked it up well. But it's like,
you're good at what you do. That's what I figured. Imposter syndrome means you're actually very good at what you do. Are you doing in-person lessons or online stuff?
No, I do everything online right now. I'm trying to be extremely careful. Yeah. I did have one. I did have somebody ask if I could continue to do in-person lessons. I just don't think it's great right now, and especially with the singing, it's
a tough negotiation, but it's a heartbreaking negotiation. But unfortunately, I think right now, it's kind of a necessary.
It is,
but it won't be forever.
It won't be. You know what's great? Like on the positive side of things, like. Let this sink in, okay? Down the line in like whatever, in 2023 when we're allowed to hang out and stuff. how great is it that you can say, oh, it's bad weather outside. Let me do an online lesson for you. Or, you know, oh, I'm not feeling so well. I'm able to do a lesson. I'm not bedridden, but maybe it's better if I stay home. Let me do this lesson for you. And that way I feel like you don't have to cancel things as much. You can travel. Like I went away for a couple days and I taught to like, up north, you know what I mean? You can do like, that's great. Like that.
What a good way to look at it. What a great perspective.
Yeah, I'm like, this is awesome. This is the future. Frankly, I hope that when it is safe to see each other in person again and to sing in person, I really think that I'd love to keep like my little kids in person and my voice students in person, but everybody else seems to be doing fine virtually.
Yeah. Well, it's the reminder of there is life after COVID. There is life beyond this. It may look different in some ways. So let's just like figure out what I mean, as performers, I feel like we always have 1, 2, 3 alternate plans, right?
Yeah.
You know, so let's lean into that and use that to our advantage. And when we come out of this, we've got some other stuff to offer because, you know, I find myself, I'm like, oh, I could have done this. I should have done that. I could have done this better. Life goes on. Life will continue after this. So like,
it will. It will. The theater stuff hurts for sure. You know, Broadway.
Look what everyone's doing, you know? So it's kind of reassuring in a way. And I so appreciate that perspective of looking forward and how we can use what we're doing now to benefit us in the future. So I love that. Speaking of benefit, I know I benefit from every time I get to hear you perform. So we're gonna have you do a song now. We're gonna do a little segment, tea segment, where I don't burn down my house. And then we're gonna bring you back to close us out. So to start, what are you going to perform for us, Lauren?
So I'm going to do a song called Second Sight. I'm going to sing this one, just little me.
Yay.
And I hope you guys enjoy it. It's about any kind of relationship, whether it be romantic, platonic, professional, however you express yourself, however you identify, and maybe feeling like you're on the back burner for somebody, but have this like clairvoyance that you might have a future together.
I love it.
So,
all right,
I'm gonna quickly change my audio setting.
Excellent.
Hear me?
Yeah. Okay, Lauren Mayer, everyone. You're welcome, everybody. Check this out.
What's that? You can hear me all right, yeah? Okay, good. Put your blinders on. The premonitions stay strong, and I say to you, I say all along, you're my one. Come into the light, the second best, the retrospect stays slightly back, right, and my sixth sense is telling me you're my first, what I perceive, and always will be. All the afterthoughts carried in your mind, present echo screaming, it's turning a blind eye. Visions of you in the forefront of my mind, of the past I can't forget or get it right, 'cause I am in your second sight. walk among the ghosts that see right through me. All the afterthoughts carried in your mind. Present echoes screaming, yet turning a blind eye. Visions of you in the forefront of my mind. Of the past I can't forget or get it right. 'Cause I am in your second sight. 'Cause I am in your second sight. All the afterthoughts carried in your mind. Present echoes scream, yet turning a blind eye. Visions of you in the forefront of my mind. Of the past I can't forget. Of a life I've never led. Of a time before we met. 'Cause I am in your second sight. 'Cause I am in your second sight.
Laura Mayer, that was gorgeous.
Sorry, hold on. I can't hear you one time.
I just said you sounded great. I was just singing your praises. Not singing. I'm not going to sing after you just sang, but metaphorically singing your praises. Lauren, that was gorgeous. And I can't wait to see what the team at Art Collective does to bring that song to life, mixing it with dance, which is so exciting.
Yeah, it's going to be really cool. They're going to, like, even just, I've had such great talks with Stefan, and like, he seems so excited about it. And it's just a really cool project. I am so bad with like technology and like video editing and all. I don't know how to do any of it. So anytime somebody like even like dips their toe in the pool of this, I'm like, oh my God, I don't know how you accomplish this. Like,
they got it going on there. They got it going on there. You're in very good hands. I can't wait to see what happens with the piece. I'm very excited. Yeah. Well, like I said, I'm a big fan of yours, so there's that.
Likewise, my dear. Likewise, truly.
All right, so you're gonna stick around. We're gonna go make some food, and then you're gonna do one more song for us a bit later in the show.
Yes, good. I'm so excited for the cooking. Okay.
Oh my gosh, me too. Okay, Laura Mayer, we'll see you in a bit. Bye for now. Okay, you guys, so we were joined by Natasha O'Brien across the pond, so to speak, in London, England. We pre-recorded this segment because right now it's like 2 a.m. in London, and that's just cruel. So we didn't want to do that. So we've got a little bit of a cooking session with Natasha O'Brien of London's West End, and I hope that you enjoy.
Hi everyone, we are live on location from my kitchen. And these days, that really is a location because, you know, COVID. Anyway, we are doing our very, very first cooking segment. I am so excited and a little bit terrified, but mostly excited. I'm having a little red moment. So, guys, I'm so excited. We are going to hop across the pond to London, England, to join our friend Natasha O'Brien, who has been doing Cooking with Tash on Wednesdays on social media, and we've been following along, and I thought, oh my gosh, let's bring her on. Let's make something that is easy, that is cost-effective, and that is warm and hearty and all kinds of fall. So please welcome to our show, Natasha O'Brien in London, England. Hi. How's it going, guys? Awesome. Happy Canadian Thanksgiving. Canadian? Happy Canadian Thanksgiving. I picked I'm not a big pumpkin spice person, but I picked a pumpkin porter. I like alliteration, iron, and beer. So this is for our recipe today.
I respect jack-o'-lantern representation.
You know, it's a terrifying, it's like me in the morning before makeup. I feel very seen. Thanks for joining us. This is so exciting. We've never done anything like this before.
Thanks for having me, babe.
Our absolute pleasure. So you've been doing a cooking segment online on Wednesdays during the pandemic, and you know, I think we've all kind of honed in on our home cooking and home all the things because that's what the place we're allowed to be right now. Yeah. But what kind of sparked the idea to do a weekly cooking segment? That's exciting.
Well, to be honest with you, like I've always loved cooking, and for the longest time, whenever I would be cooking is sort of a hobby of mine, and it's a very chilled out thing for me. Sort of just something I would do on a Sunday for kicks. And I love taking pictures of gorgeous produce. We have Riverford is sort of like a veg box delivery company that you can get here in the UK, and we would get a delivery of stunning local seasonal veg every Tuesday. And I would just sort of take pics of what I got and then be inspired to make something and take pics as I was cooking and then take pics of, you know, this is what happens with Instagram, isn't it? You just end up taking pics of everything. But it was something that I really enjoyed doing. And then a few people, my husband and a few friends were like, you should just do a cooking show on Instagram already. Just cooking with Tash, just do it. So I decided for Canada Day to do a poutine cooking with Tash. That was sort of like the soft launch.
It looks so good.
Yeah, just a sensible soft launch with poutine. The best we could do in the UK anyway. And then I decided that sort of as like a creative, just to hold myself creatively accountable. Once a week, I was going to whack the camera on and cook something. And it's been really fun. It's been 15, 16 weeks now, and it's just, you know, it's a really good time. And then sometimes I have other West End guests on, you know, colleagues of mine, former castmates or whomever, and we just talk shit and drink and cook something random. Maybe it's related to the show, do you know what I mean? Like I've done sort of a Mamma Mia related one and a Falsettos related one, and or maybe not. Maybe we just drink wine and cook something, and it always ends up being a good time.
I love that so much, and I love, like we've talked to a lot of people about leaning into things that are not necessarily career related, but like soul filling related, and I feel like that's kind of what this has been for you.
Thanks, mate. Yeah, that's exactly how it feels. Like it's sort of cooking and baking for me has always been sort of performance-free creativity. And now I suppose there's sort of an element of voyeurism with the camera being on. There's an element of performance, but really it's still just like something satisfying for me to do. I mean, I have to make food for dinner anyway, so, you know, there's nothing unnecessary about it. It's just putting the camera on and having a chat. And then if anybody wants to cook along, I give them a little heads up the day before what we're going to make. And then it's proven to be a really good time.
I love that. That's great. I think, and also like a lot of us, because we're spending so much more time at home and we're trying to, you know, be cost efficient and kind of keep ourselves occupied, I think a lot of people are cooking more and baking more. I mean, I don't know how we procured this bag of flour back when the pandemic started. So buy it now before it all disappears, because today's recipe has flour. Today we're going to be making sweet potato gnocchi.
Yes, I've never made it before either, so like we're going to fail together. It's going to be fantastic.
So we were talking, we were like, what can we make together that's like fall, that's hearty, that's kind of, you know, inexpensive to make, kind of simple. I say that now. I think right? We'll see how it goes. And we're going to post the recipe, so if anyone wants to try it out, they can. So, I mean, all right, cheers. Let's see how this goes. We're going to make it. We're going to do it. All right, here we go.
Okay, so to start, you got to pierce your sweet potatoes with a fork. So get some sweet potatoes. I recommend maybe one sweet potato per person, depending on size. Look at that sensibly sized sweet potato. Well done, Walls.
It's a very sensible.
What?
I said it's very sensibly sized.
A sensibly sized sweet potato. And you want to pierce it with a fork. You want to give it a rinse under a tap. Make sure all the dirt is off of it, and then wrap that wet sweet potato in a paper towel and pop it in the microwave for like 6-7-ish minutes until it's squishy. You need the squishy.
That's a brilliant hack. Like I would never have thought to wrap it in the paper towel so it doesn't get all dried out.
Babe, take this forth into your life because, first of all, complex carbohydrate. I mean, a sweet potato, she'll take you far. Like, if you need energy for an evening performance, sweet potato your life up.
They're great for blood sugar. They balance out your blood sugar too, right?
So good. Honestly, a sweet potato before a show, I may as well have had it like a double espresso. Like, sweet potato, maybe an apple. Look out, she's 35. This is what happens. You get really excited about root veg, kids. Look out.
Guys, this is where we're at. This is where we're at. Get excited about good food. All right, so our sweet potato is warm and mushy.
Just like take a spoon and empty all of your contents into a bowl. That's what you got to do.
Great. Okay, great.
Don't knock your wine over. Be careful, sensible.
Oh no. So we took a week off last week because I had to have surgery and I was on mushy food for about a week. So my sweet potatoes are left over from my mushy food diet, but like this is the kind of mushy food I can get behind.
I was gonna say, like, are you over the sweet potatoes? We should have picked something else.
Never.
Okay.
I rekindled my love for it because like it's a food that you can feel good about eating and it fills you up and it like you can do so many things.
Totally. Flavor country. I didn't prepare all of the recipes that I've seen online. It's approximately 1 cup of flour to 1 sweet potato.
Okay.
It doesn't specify the size of the sweet potato.
Feels like having a waitress moment. Butter, flour, potatoes.
Sugar, butter, flour. Yeah. So I think we have to be a little bit. We have to put our pancakes are really simple.
Okay.
I'm gonna grab my cup. I've got 5 sweet potatoes in this bowl, but I don't believe that I'm gonna put 5 cups of flour in here.
Without quarantining solo, I have 1, so I got your back. For those who are quarantining in a company, Tash has got your back. Yeah. To say we got you in whatever configuration of life you're in right now. What was going on in your life when the whole thing kind of just went toe up?
So actually, it was in the middle of audition season. Where I was doing, I wasn't on contract.
Okay. You were in that magical time of between one and the other that we all love.
So I had just finished falsettos at the end of last year at Christmas, and then January came around, and I was chilling. I was teaching yoga and auditioning. February came around. I was chilling, teaching yoga, auditioning, and then I decided to fly down to Australia and see my sister, who had just had a baby.
Oh wow! Okay.
And I was really humming and hawing about whether or not to do it because it was the height of audition season.
Right.
My agent originally was kind of like, "Are you sure this show and this show and this show are seeing people at this time? And we're gonna want to get you in for this, that, the other, rah rah rah." And I was like, "I have to go see my niece. Like, it's the first baby in the family. I gotta do it. You know what I mean?" And I went for it. I fucking went for it. And I'm really thankful I did because turns out there is no year, there is no season. Like, it was all for naught.
Wow.
Do you know what I mean?
Wow, what a crazy, I'm so glad that you did that. And it's such a struggle, right? Weighing out my life expectations versus career expectations.
And I feel like a lot of the time we are all too eager to sacrifice life stuff for the sake of work. Mm-hmm. And it's quite normalized. And the truth is, it doesn't have to be. Sometimes it feels like it has to be, but again, just so thankful that I didn't, because otherwise, I'm certainly not able to fly to Australia now and visit my brand niece. I'm so glad I had that experience. And then when I got back, so I was in Australia when things were when toilet paper gate was getting started. So let's have a look. Let's have a look at your potato dough.
Okay, how am I doing?
Really good. So mine is, I feel like it's too floury. So what I'm going to do in this situation is toss an egg in. That's what I'm going to do.
Because I want to ask, the reason, so I feel like pasta is really close to, I don't bake, because baking is such a, mathematical science. Also, my friend Sarah Strange is the best baker ever, so I'd rather just pick her to do it.
Your friend who?
Sarah Strange. She has her own company called Strange Pies, and she's like the real.
I love that. That's amazing,
right? And I was gonna ask because I have one sweet potato and I put 1 cup of flour, but I didn't use it all because I'm like, I'm gonna mess this up. So if you do over flour, you add an egg. That's the kind of recovery.
Well, this is what I'm trying to do because I'm making this recipe for the very first gosh darn time ever. I just think egg is a binder, and I have a lot of flour going on here, and so I decided to go for it. I've thrown an egg in. Some recipes call for egg. Other recipes say you don't need it, but already with that one single egg put in, I can see a difference in my dough, so I feel like it was the right color. But definitely salt your water.
Okay.
This is what I'm doing right now. We're going to salt our water.
All right.
So anyway, London, the West End is definitely on pause. Equity is sort of in the middle of trying to negotiate something between the Society of London Theatres, SALT, and West End, trying to find some kind of middle ground where we can all feel like we're back to work and we're doing our job. We're not being completely taken advantage of, but the industry is able to maintain a sustainable performance schedule of some modified sort. It's exceptional times, I'll say that much.
Yeah. It's all kind of like a free fall, eh? It's like every day is kind of a different day on the barricade, so to speak.
Yeah. All right. So once you have smushed your sweet potato and your flour and potentially your egg because you didn't measure the flour properly together, you'll have something that looks like this.
Okay. I think it might be too tacky. Like, you know when you like put on fake eyelashes and you let it get tacky so it doesn't run in your eye?
We don't want that.
I feel like we need to be more dry.
Yeah, a little bit air on the drier side, but also not too dry. You can also sprinkle some flour onto your countertop.
Excellent.
And then I recommend cutting that into 4 pieces. Boom shakalaka.
You're putting that all in the 4 pieces. Okay. Awesome. Okay, I think we're in a good place now. All right.
So we have a sweet little dough, and then we're gonna roll it out into like a long tube-like, snaky-like kind of thing. So just roll it out. This is what I saw on the internet.
God, this takes me. See, whoever said that Play-Doh
vibes.
This is why kids need to play with Play-Doh, because I'm having, not only do I feel like I have the skill, but now I'm going to this like nostalgic place of my childhood, which I love, because it makes me.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So keep rolling this business out until you get to a point where it's like, I don't know, maybe like an inch in diameter, slightly under an inch, maybe like a centimeter and a half. Do you know what I mean? That kind of.
It looks like I'm having like Tremor vibes here, like the movie Tremors, or like.
Yeah, RDP. I'm picking up what you put down. Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Snake vibe. This is what we've got here. We've got this snake.
How do I do?
Yeah.
Fact check my work. Okay. So we've got a snake of sweet potato goodness.
A snake of sweet potato goodness. And then you want to cut it like little inch-long pieces.
Okay.
Little inch-long pieces. They look like large nibs. Am I wrong in saying nibs?
No, nibs. That's exactly it. What is the like equivalent of? Do you have nibs in England? Because I feel like I couldn't survive without them.
Send nibs, please.
Okay.
No, we don't, and I'm sad about it. All right. So then, here's the thing. This is what we want to do. There's this thing that we do where we want to roll. Have a look, Jen, because what we want to do is we want to roll this little piece of sweet potato goodness along the fork. And we get this like cool texture.
That's what happens.
That's when it happens. According to the internet, that's how that happens. Roll it along.
Okay.
Roll it along the internet fork. Give it a little bit of texturoni. And all this really is, to be fair, all any texture is on any pasta is like sort of an enabling of the pasta to absorb sauce. To like a bit more.
Yeah. And like you were teaching that before the world went squirrely, but now you're doing it online as well. And it's like, I don't do yoga myself, but I think I need to start. But it's such a like beautiful vibe that you've got. Tell us about like where can people find your yoga classes online? Because I think that's so important, like breathing. And we've had some people on the show. Well, one that does like meditation and yoga, because I think it's so important, like mindfulness right now, whatever you can do to kind of stay grounded. So where do people find that? When do you do it? Tell us all the things.
Thanks, man. Yeah. So I've been teaching yoga for about 7 years now. The best decision I've ever made was to do my yoga teacher training. I teach in central London and I have private clients and stuff like that. Throughout lockdown, I just thought it was really important to provide some yoga online for anybody who was, I just think it's a little bit of meditation, a little bit of breath work. There's just for mental health, for physical health, especially for so many of my mates who had completely lost all sense of income. It was just important. And Instagram kind of provided me with this platform to put some classes up. So every day I did a class, or around every day, I did a class around lunchtime, just like a half-hour flow, just to suit my mood, really. And they're all still there on my IGTV. So if you want to go back and check them out, practice my classes for it. But now I teach in town. I'm in central London teaching at a few different studios, and those classes, some of them are live streamed. It's on Dig Me Fitness. So if you want to check out Dig Me Fitness, you can, and you can sign up for Dig Me at Home and check out my online yoga classes for them. There are live classes, and I think there are a few pre-recorded. There's a bit of pre-recorded content on there as well. But I mean, anywhere you can find some online classes. I think it's really important to just make time for yourself. Like, no matter what you're doing, if it's cooking or if it's going for a walk or if it's yoga or if it's whatever, like just making the time to breathe and focus on a simple task is so important. And I love yoga. It serves a huge purpose in my life. And I guess that's about it. That's all I really got to do.
This is for Instagram, you guys. If you want to find her to do some yoga or find some other delicious recipes, so get on the gram.
Get on the ground. What's going to happen is we're going to toss these tasty little morsels of flavor down into the boiling water. All right. And when you rise to the top, that means they are done. So they're only in for a minute, like really not very much time at all. And then we're going to scoop out with a slotted spoon. Do you have a slotted spoon?
I've got one. Sorry,
if you don't stress. Just get a regular spoon and try to get just the gnocchi. I've got my water on to boil right now. It will be boiling shortly.
Okay.
And so my gnocchi is currently just piled up on my kitchen counter. I'm putting a significant amount of butter in that pan because I believe life is there. And then I'm going to put some garlic in and the sage. Well, I've always loved crosswords, but lately, since the top of the pandemic, actually, when I went to Australia, I bought my first book of New York Times crosswords. I started with the Mondays, and then, I've got garlic and sage and butter in this pan. That's what's happening in this pan right now.
How do you do your garlic? Did you just like chop it up, like slice
it? I minced it. You mince that garlic. Mince it up.
Mincing, okay.
Chop it fine. Get crazy. I'm going to start putting the gnocchi in the water. Let's go pan watch. What's happening down here? Boom. So I've been deep into the New York Times crossword puzzles. I started with the Mondays when I went to Australia and Fed, and then now I'm on to the Saturdays.
Oh, which Saturday's like the big one, right?
They're not fucking around with those Saturdays. I'm like, who knows what any of the answers to these questions are? Like, are you trying to feel shit about myself?
Yeah, thanks for making me feel stupid. Thanks.
I'm like, nobody knows who that person is. You're a dick. Also, that's not a word. Like,
that's not you made that up, sir.
Sir, can I talk to this for times? Because this is bullshit. Turn your butter sage pan down to minimum so you don't burn anything.
Right.
All you have to do is like activate those aromatics. I thought it was kind of you.
It smells so freaking good. Oh my god, I'm gonna eat this entire thing.
It's flavor time. I'm gonna grate some parm.
Nice.
Yeah.
I thought mine pre-grated because I'm not that great at this.
That's fine. I'm going to go ahead and grate some fresh Parmesan because I'm fancy as fuck.
You are super.
Definitely have some gnocchi rolling to a boil, which is good news. And then I'm literally going to take it from the pot.
Okay, I'm ready.
And chuck it pretty much basically directly into the pan. But I'm just waiting to make sure that it is all cooked.
Okay. So
And you're cooking for like a number of people. You know what I mean?
Right. So once they're all at the top, then you can transfer it into the butter.
Yeah, that's my feeling.
Okay. I'm gonna, because I have significant less than yours. I have so much less than you do because I'm cooking for me.
Yeah.
So
yeah, go for it.
I'm gonna go for it.
Let's start chucking the pan. We're gonna hear a sizzle, and that's a good thing because we want to get a little bit of brown on them. We want to get a little bit of color, a little bit of vibes. We want a vibe going. We want a vibe.
This is awesome.
Yeah, things are happening in my kitchen for sure.
Yeah, I think this is the most I've ever done in my kitchen.
Give it a little shaky shake. Definitely crank that butter up. Get a color and a vibe. And there's definitely some brown butter business happening on this gnocchi. Oh, fuck yeah, this looks legit. This looks like an Instagram video. This is fine. We're good. We're rocking a salt and pep, a sensible, freshly ground salt and pep. This pepper grinder sucks. Every time I do cooking with Tash, I say I'm going to change my pepper grinder, and then I never change my pepper grinder. So here we are, getting back at pepper grinder. Grind pepper, get it in there as much as you like. Be liberal. Be not afraid. Give it a little toss. I feel like things are happening here. I kind of want to go in for a little bite, test. Let's see what's happening. Oh, maybe I want to put another sage leaf in. Go for it. Just chuck it in. And that's what I'm going to serve the people in my house. This is what I'm going to serve them right here.
That looks incredible.
Not bad. It's not the worst thing I've ever fed people.
Great. I think it's great. So it's 3 ingredients. It's literally sweet potato, flour, butter, and then if you want to get fancy or experimental, Parmesan is so good on it. Garlic, sage. We're gonna put some stuff like the recipe in our Facebook afterwards if you want to make it really flour, sweet potato, mix it till it's like a dough. Roll it, cut it, roll it again, put a bunch of butter in a pan, and then just
that right there. It's the butter in a pan that's going to send it home. Right? Oh my God.
Really, I think the original lyrics for Waitress was butter, 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 because oh my God.
Absolutely. Exactly.
Oh my God.
There you go.
I love it. All right. I'm going to stuff my face. Tasha's going to make her next batch because she's a beautiful human who is cooking for a bunch of people. Thank you so much for joining us. It was so good to see you and chat with you, and all the best across the pond in London. And if you want to find Tash for her cooking segments or her yoga, find her on Instagram. There. And we're going to follow up and post everything you need. So good to see you. Thank you for this delicious, delicious gift of beautiful, beautiful food.
Thanks for joining today.
Yeah. Let's do this again sometime.
Okay, deal.
Okay, awesome. We'll talk to you soon.
Okay, bye.
I said beautiful 3 times in that segment. Beautiful. Guys, it actually turned out really well. It was quite delicious. There's only 3 base ingredients, and then you can make it as fancy as you want. We're going to put the recipe in our Facebook group, but really sweet potato, flour, butter, and then whatever fancy crap you want to add to it. Thank you to Natasha O'Brien for joining us from London, England, to share her beautiful recipe. I just said beautiful again, guys. It's like I'm trying to drink on purpose. I'm not. I'm just kidding. But check her out on the Instagram. You can do her yoga. You can do check out the new recipes that she's got every Wednesday. And we're very grateful for Natasha for joining us and sharing that with her. Yes, we had a hoot, Patrick. And to be honest, you guys, that segment was actually 45 minutes long. And actually an hour. The full call was about an hour, but we tried to get the, necessities out of it. Also, so you wouldn't be here till 1 o'clock in the morning. Okay, you guys, we have reached the end of the show, the home stretch, so to speak. And I can't think of a better way to send you out into the week than by welcoming back our musical guest. Before we do, I just want you to know our next show will be the Monday before Halloween. We have some awesome guests on that show, including Juno Award winner Stacey K. We have Mr. Dan Shemeroy from Stratford Festival fame. We also will be joined by a performance by Marcus Nance, and we've got a couple other spooky tricks up our sleeve for you. That's Monday on the 26th of October at 8 p.m. right here. And don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel so you don't miss a single episode or a single segment. And if you're not already following us online, you can follow us on Instagram at @singular_sensation. Like, share, subscribe, do it, because supporting us supports our community. So let's just all do it together. You guys, please welcome back to the show to take us home, Ms. Lauren Mayer. Hello again.
Hi, I have Alex here with me.
Hi, Alex. Nice to see you.
With a fun little instrument for this next little number.
Amazing. Well, listen, thank you both for joining us. And I can't think of a better way to send everyone out into the world. You guys, check it out. Taking us home, Lauren and Alex.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Jenny. Okay, guys. All right. Do it. This one's called Dark Matter. Feeling like I'm running from something that I can't explain. The vessels are contorting, the blood is flowing in my brain. If I'm not mistaken, I was warned about the gray, the kind of dark that overpowers time and all my stays. Dark matter, as it spreads, it stifles every single piece